Then I'll just mention a couple little intentions as well. For instance, leaning into the uncomfortable places on purpose. This is not so much an agreement as an intention that I invite you to hold for yourself. I like to say that a useful practice in here is becoming a connoisseur of pain, by which I mean, for instance, when you're doing yoga, if you're twisting your knee the wrong way and there's a stabbing pain, you can be pretty clear that it means, stop, stupid, that's hurting me. But if you are leaning into a slow, deep stretch and you have this dull kind of aching pain along the backs of your legs, you get this feeling like, that's a good pain. And even though I might tend to resist it and not do it until other people around me are encouraging me to do it, I know I'm going to feel better afterwards, and I'm glad. Similarly with emotional pain. Sure, there's some emotional pains that mean stop, don't go there. But the vast majority of anxiety and discomfort that people suffer, that modern people suffer from, falls more into the category of pain that if you were willing to move toward it, lean into it, you could learn something and grow from it. So in this group, I invite you to lean into embarrassment. Lean into the anxiety of asking for what you want. Lean into the discomfort of acknowledging that you're angry at someone, or attracted to someone, or to notice that there's a resistance that comes up and to move toward it instead of away from it. Make sense? Any questions about that? Okay.
Doesn't mean you have to go to do that. You can choose what you want.
Yeah, I'm inviting you to cultivate that intention. And in cultivating that intention, you also have to practice what I call pacing yourself, which is you don't see, there's the discomfort I could learn from, and so you just throw yourself in there and mop yourself up later. It doesn't have to look like that. There's what I call the comfort zone, the stretch zone, and the trauma zone, or the crisis zone. People tend to try to hang out in their comfort zone as much as possible. Oftentimes, they can't help being occasionally ricocheted out into their crisis zone and then running from it as fast as they can to get back into their comfort zone. What we're after is getting in your comfort zone, consciously moving out into your stretch zone. Feeling that. And then just like after that stretch in yoga, coming back to your comfort zone, a little savasana here for a while, and then back out into your stretch zone with as few trips as reasonably possible into the crisis zone. It's kind of like you can make a graph of building a muscle. If with this being the amount of stress you subject the muscle to, and this being how much strength you get out of it. If you expose it to no stress, you don't get much strength. More stress, more stress, more stress, more strength. More stress, it starts falling off, and it's not actually helping you grow any at all. You're just getting traumatized and spending all your time reeling. So pace yourself, but probably not too much worry. I'll be here to help you make sure that you aren't careening off into crisis zone. So I would say err on the side of leaning into the discomforts. One other intention I would say is to try to have beginner's mind. Try to assume the position that you don't know. Now there's plenty of things you do know, and there's all kinds of useful information that you have accumulated over the course of a lifetime. But I invite you, in order to get as much out of this time as you can, to adopt the position of letting yourself be a beginner, letting yourself not know, letting yourself try things that I invite you to try, even if you don't, even if you have some resistance to them, even if you don't see the reason for that, or like I might invite you to try to saying something that you think, well, that's not the right word, or that's not true for me. And you can say that, and I may say, well, would you try saying it anyway? See what happens. It's all an experiment. So invite you to just approach things as a beginner, just for the purposes of this group. And perhaps in your life in general, you'll find that it's actually a good way to live. All right? Any questions about any of those agreements or intentions? All right, let's rock and roll. And you can